All right, hey, this is MLG. I want to talk about something that came up recently in my Veil experiment I played with Ivan, Mike, and Moonslinger. So this video is going to be about the distinction between staying true to character, staying true to your expectation, of play or your game expectation, and staying true to what you wanna do as a player, versus the issue of this is what my character would do. So, this is what my character would do is the way I understand it is the idea that it's an issue sometimes because some people are becoming problematic. Some players are becoming problematic at the table for many different reasons, because they stick to this is what my character would do. I remember when I first started vlogging years, five or 6 years ago, like in 2012. I don't remember. It's been a long time now, but one of the example that was coming out all the time is the paladin that wants to do good all the time, and he's in a murder hobo thing in D&D and is creating this conflict situation. It's the really basic way of playing RPG, where it's the idea that if you don't stick to the party and you don't do like the others are doing, no matter what your character is, you're a trouble player, because you're not going toward, the accomplishment of what there is to be done around, in that game. And so, for me, I don't play like that. I'm a guy that I don't mind splitting the party. I don't mind killing PvP other people. I don't mind stealing from my fellow players. I don't mind, I think I like organic type of play, emergent type of situations, and I like to play characters to the fullest, right? So here's the situation that happened to me in the Veil, and I wanna talk about that because it raises all kinds of questions. So I played a street preacher character, and his belief is about the fact that it's about peace. It's like Gandhi and Jesus Christ kind of thing, where it's about neutrality, it's about peace, it's about doing good and morality. And he's in this cult where they take this psychedelic drug and they think that they are unified, and they're making one with everything and all that. And he's a street preacher, so he's reinforcing it a lot. He's a preacher, and so I didn't want it. So you see the kind of character in a cyberpunk setting, and so I was not trying to be, the really annoying and painful street preacher where he's always talking about his religion that much. And at the same time, I didn't want it to play the crisis of fate, cliche. I just wanted to play the street preacher because I wanted to roleplay the situation of, preaching on the corner of a, dystopian city, in some future on a greedy level. And I liked the playbook, and, so it was more of an aesthetic thing. And also trying to have this conflict of I'm high sometimes, I'm losing my mind, and there is all kinds of technology, and it's a violent world, so I'm gonna have to deal with these situations, So I wanted to play that paradox, that contrast, and so, but I didn't want to play the crisis of fate. So I was not into the idea of, okay, so my narrative is gonna be about challenging that and trying to. And become losing myself and getting it back again, right? Like losing my faith by becoming violent at one point because I have a tough decision to make, and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to deal with the situation at hand with my fellow players, but through the lens of the street preacher. So now what happened is that for some obviously enough, pretty much every session I played with these guys, I got picked on. So I got attacked on the street by thugs. I got attacked eventually by terrorist people who were trying to kick me out of some place. I was eventually beat up by cops in the fountain. I got eventually forced on by some people in an apartment building. I mean, I was always in a situation where I was struck by violence, and I made my mind at the beginning that I will stick to I would stick to my tenets of my faith, and I would not do the crisis of faith thing. So my fellow players, I was always in kind of conflict with either the GM or the NPC. I mean the NPC through the GM, because I was never getting into that thing. And eventually what happened in the story is, like, my friend, I had this friend which is this robot girl, and she wants to be human and everything, but eventually she kind of loses her mind and she killed a bunch of people. And so it happened that she killed like some of the fellow member of my cult. And my character it didn't make a difference between, is it the cultists or it's human beings, it's like, or people, whatever. For him, it's all unified. So it was not about the fact that they were cult members. Again, he was kind of like picked on, but it was not about that. It was just about the idea that she lost her mind because she can be controlled by something else. She mass murdered a lot of people, and then she doesn't remember anything. She has no guilt at all. So my character is just he lost trust into what used to be his friends, and he just see it as a robot now. And it's like, I mean, I cannot really trust it. It's not my friend anymore, and so the relationship was broken. Now we were, so Ivan and I had to play 3 sessions where they're not friends anymore, and they never played together before. We had 1 session really short, but the rest of the time he was playing with the other character, or he was out of his mind doing stuff. So the only time I played with Ivan, I was kind of already in a character with him, and character conflict with him, and then his character was always like pretty much all the time taking the gun out and doing the thing out, and me, I was doing the opposite, because I was like, no, it has to be peaceful. There's always another solution. So I ended up, so basically what happened is that till the end, I ended up always being in some kind of a conflict with my fellow player, and with my GM somehow, because the GM was always trying to create situation to pick on me. So what happened is that I was becoming this, for some people, not me, I don't think so, but I'm doing this video because I'm not sure. I'd like to understand the limit of this concept. I was becoming that this is what my character would do, because I didn't want it to change my intention of play as a player, to do the crisis of fate that they were kind of trying to reinforce somehow. Well, I interpreted that way, and it was kind of obvious, like, oh, you need to do that crisis of fate to get that great climax or something, or that tragic situation, or whatever. And then you have, and I was like in that situation where I had the possibility to stop my intention, my expectation of play, change my intention as a player for my character, and just follow the bandwagon of let's deal with this story, like I described at the beginning of this video. And on the other hand as well, I had this character that used to be my friend, that I don't like anymore in character, because she mass murdered other people. She doesn't have guilt, and she don't remember, and she can be kind of controlled by something more powerful than I. So I have no trust into, and so I want to do my thing, because I have the game is structured around beliefs, and one of my beliefs is that my calling is the only only meaningful purpose in this world. So I want to preach, and now we reach another situation. So I want to keep expanding the preaching, but at the same time I want to avenge my friend Cadmus, by trying to do what he was trying to do, and for some reason she seems to not want to follow me. So we split. And now we have a split the party situation where they never really got back into it. If you see the last session, they never managed to connect again. So my so after that session and everything, you know, and until the end, I mean, it was a really anticlimactic end where, you know, no spoilers, but you know, so for the fan base who follow us. So my questions now is, what's the limit of that? Because the game ended up with two people following two different agendas, with a split the party situation, with two different perspectives on the same events, and me personally, I dig that. I liked it. So I don't, it's not a matter of should I like it or should I not like it. I just want to know what you guys think about that. It's like the idea of this is what my character would do being something that can be problematic around the table, versus the idea of, no, I stayed true to the playbook. I stayed true to my character. I stayed true to the beliefs. So I stayed true to the game mechanic structure of what the playbook is. I stayed true to my expectation as a character, and I stayed true to what made sense for me, right? But the idea of, it falls back on that. It falls back on the idea of, yeah, but is it annoying for my fellow players? Because it felt like that at session 8, where we had to have like this big conversation afterward, where we kind of tackled these issues. So was it becoming annoying for them? You know, in the sense of, because we don't have all the same bias, you know, we don't have the same taste in games. And maybe some of these guys were expecting that we stick together and that we do the thing, right? But maybe not. Like it's kind of like sometimes it's unwritten, like there's this idea of you need to buy in. You should buy in the idea of it's a group play. So I felt at one point like I'm playing alone here. And but I know I was not, because me as a player, like my kind of player is like, we're building this narrative, you know, through our story, through our RPG experience. We're building this story. We're building this thing. We're crafting it. And so we all have our opportunities to craft it our own way, you know. And sometimes it merged together, sometimes it doesn't. It goes different path. I was trying to. I made a move in this game to come back and talk to Ivan's character, so we can. But it was kind of, it didn't happen in play, and it was great. It probably went better that way in my book. But at the same time, you know, I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, maybe we should try to do the thing. So yeah, so I feel good about the game and the experience I had. But I want to express that, because it's the first time I experienced that. It's the first time I experienced that. Like I don't want to start like a psychologization. You know, I don't want to make it a psychoanalysis of, you know, how I feel about that. I wanna ask these three questions, like, what is most important? Is it like the, you know, what you should do as a character, what you should do as a player? Two distinction here. Is it like should you reinforce toward the group situation? Like, should you as a player, should you bring character toward a group goal when you play an RPG? Should you do that all the time? Is it like more important than staying true to game expectation and character? What's the limit of this becoming, this is what my character would do issue, where it's really a problem? In your book, what I described there, was it problematic? Like, should have bite the bullet and go for the crisis of fate, more, Hollywoodish type of ending where we get the climax satisfaction for the whole group, satisfying my experience for that. If I would have done something like that, for example, which would have really, I'm not talking about my fellow players, but maybe in some groups that would have been nice, kind of thing, like for people. Well, I would have maybe spent a session and a half bored out of my mind, because everything would have been kind of written in advance. And it's strangely enough, like I said, like yesterday, the first thing I said when we shot the video, when we finished the session, I was like, till the end, I was powerless and clueless of what would happen. And this is so important for me. And I feel like the only way for me as a player to experience that was to stay true to that character so much that it was rubbing with the edges of caricature and expectations and stuff. So in that way, I'm like, man, I need to do what you expect I will not do, in such a sense that this is the way I will reach that experience of not knowing how it would end. Until the end, I mean, I was like, actually when Anthony said, and this is how it's gonna end, I was like, holy fuck, I didn't see that one coming. I didn't see that one coming, right? And so, anyway, let me know what you guys think. It's a long video, and I've been thinking about it since session 7-8 of the 9 session we played. I was starting to feel that kind of tension between, this is what my character would do and everything. And so yeah, so let me know what you guys think. Obviously I think it will fall down on a matter of taste, but there is some ethics, some ethical question behind that, about like as a group versus individual expectations and play and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.